Iran promised retaliation. 5 waves of it came last night. This suburban neighborhood in a town on the edge of Tel Aviv, the epicenter of the final one at 5 a.m.
Suddenly we heard a boom in the house. We continued to go to the shelter, and after we go out, we see that all the windows and the roof was damaged, all the street, and but we saw what happened here, so we are lucky.
How much of your house is left, or how much?
For my house,
Yeah.
Nothing left. Nothing left. The house is worse than what you see here. It's all collapsed. The truth is that I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm sitting in my house, my shelter, in my country, in my city, and I'm don't have security here.
As neighbors surveyed what of their lives was salvageable and walked away from homes unlivable, Iran promised yet more of these barrages. The rhetoric dialed up, the battle for symbolism as much a part of this conflict as the fire from above.
This is a very residential neighborhood. The damage here is vast. There are cars that have been flipped over one another. These buildings here, well, the damage is complete, and 2 people lost their lives at this location. Now, in comparison, the strikes that Israel launched against Iran were far more devastating, but the mere fact that Iran was able to get any missiles into a neighborhood like this, so close to Tel Aviv, will be grasped as a propaganda win by a diminished Iranian regime.
These were the skies over Tel Aviv last night. Iron Dome rockets fired to intercept Iranian missiles. More than 150 of them in all fired at Israel, and some got through. This strike, a packed apartment block in the heart of Tel Aviv. In total, more than 70 people were wounded and 3 people killed in the attacks across central Israel last night. But the rockets were firing in both directions. This is the international airport in the Iranian capital. Israel's defense minister warned today that, quote, Tehran will burn if Iran keeps firing missiles. To underline their point, there were strikes on surface-to-air rocket launchers. 3 more nuclear scientists were killed, bringing the total to 9. And the Iranians say that a residential building strike on Tehran killed 60, including 20 children. But while the world's focus switches to the conflict with Iran, bodies continue to fall in Gaza. These are the first images we've been able to get out of the besieged area since the internet went down on Thursday. According to our local sources, these were people injured at an incident near a food distribution centre in central Gaza this morning. 90 people have lost their lives here in the last 48 hours, say the Hamas-run Gazan Health Authority. The reach of this conflict growing only wider every day.
Paul McNamara reporting there from Tel Aviv. Now, adding to Iran's humiliation, Israel says it's killed more than 20 Iranian military commanders since its operation began. Iranian state media has reported that British, American and French ships and military bases will be targeted if those countries help with Israel's defense. But Iran's Security Council is reported to be divided over how to respond. And it's unclear how many launchable missiles Iran has left. Jonathan Rugman has this.
Iran is reeling from attacks it so failed to anticipate that its military commanders were killed sleeping in their beds at home and not in the safe houses they use when tension with Israel increases. The Islamic Republic is better at erecting posters of the dead than it is at defending itself. These, the generals and nuclear scientists assassinated by Israel. The slogan says the regime should expect severe punishment. That message also delivered by the cleric in charge for almost 40 years.
They should not think they struck and it's over. No, they started this and triggered a war. We will not allow them to walk away unscathed from the great crime they have committed.
Iran's Supreme National Security Council decides how to respond, but several key officers have been killed, including the head of the army standing at the back. This was the sky over Tel Aviv last night. Iran's plan was reportedly to overwhelm Israel with 1,000 ballistic missiles. They've terrified and killed civilians, but only a fraction have been launched and most of them have been intercepted. Israel, armed with US intelligence, attacked missile sites in Iran before they could be launched. And it says it significantly damaged the uranium enrichment plant here at Natanz, though we don't know if its 15,000 or so centrifuges survived.
So, for example, at Natanz, have you destroyed the centrifuges that were enriching uranium?
Without getting into operational details, I can tell you that we are very, very happy with the results, satisfied with the results so far.
Nothing may have humiliated Iran more than the sight of Mossad agents operating on Iranian soil. But Iranian officials are reported to be divided over how to respond, whether they can sustain a wider war. Yesterday, an American diplomat told Iraq's Prime Minister that the US was not participating in Israeli attacks. But America could get sucked in if Iran decides to attack US military bases or hold up oil supplies traveling through the Persian Gulf.
That's the critical question. I think Iran doesn't want to go there immediately or perhaps at all, but it's very much in a bind. It's trying to calibrate its response, show that it, can put up some sort of response to redeem its face without turning this into a much wider conflagration.
Faced with this destruction, Iran's regime has a choice, either to escalate this crisis or to pull back. And if it does pull back, its weakness in the eyes of its own people will be all the more obvious than it is now.